Welcome, this is Jim, host of the Faith Influencer podcast, where we're going to dive into discussions on faith's role in everyday life, from navigating blended families to overcoming challenges. I'm a husband, a father, a Bible teacher, an advocate for applying faith to everyday life. So tune in as I share personal stories, valuable insights, and practical wisdom. 5 things that every man wished his wife knew that he hasn't told her. That's what we're talking about today. Thanks for joining us on our podcast. This is Jim Cunningham with Faith Influencer, and this is one of those subjects that I could talk about with my hands tied behind my back, because in years of counseling with men, these are the kinds of things that I heard. So we're gonna talk how men view things. So ladies, don't get offended that we're not giving your viewpoint. That's not what today's podcast is about. So 5 things your husband wish you knew, but he may never tell you. So today, we're going to uncover the secrets, what he really thinks. So there are things that you talk about, and there are things that he won't talk about. There are things that you fight about that he may have difficulty in explaining to you exactly how he feels. After years of counseling with couples, working with men, living myself, married through marriage, there are things that I hear men say privately that they often struggle to say to the woman that they love. So today, we're going to say it. And I want you to know I've stress tested this subject, because here's what I did. I took this question, what do men wish women knew? And I sent it to all my guys out there. I sent it to all my guys and said, I need your feedback. Answer me back. And it didn't take but minutes when I started getting replies. So I took all those replies and I've built them into 5 things that men wish their woman knew. So, but that's where it came from. So this is something that men out there, generally speaking, all the men out there are thinking concerning their wives. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to give you 5. Stick with me. Some of them make sense. Some of them you're going to be like, I'm so glad you said that. Now let's just get my wife to listen to this. So here we go. Number 1. The first thing that men wish that their wives knew is that he can't read her mind. Now, you've heard that. We've said that many times, but let's dive into it. Ladies, let me say to you, your husband has many gifts. He really does. But mind reading probably isn't one of them. I doubt that's one of his gifts. One of the biggest sources of frustration in marriage is an expectation that was never actually communicated. It's kind of hard to have an expectation that wasn't communicated. But for some reason, that's out there in marriages when she thinks, well, he should just know. Well, no, he doesn't have the gift of mind reading. He should know I need his help. He should know that bothered me. He should know that I wanted him to come with me. He should know that our anniversary is important to me. He should know. And here's where I want to push back. The words, he should know, have started so many fights in marriage, I can't even tell you. So if her perspective, because her perspective is, if I have to tell you, it doesn't mean as much, that's a false narrative. You have to let go of that. The idea that if I have to tell him means that we're not connected or he doesn't love me. No, it just means he doesn't read your mind. That's all that means. So you never told me? Let's throw that out. That's caused a lot of harm. And I want to give you some practical alternatives, how to reword that. And this one is specifically for the ladies. Instead of saying, you never helped me around here, because you thought he should know, read your mind, there are certain things that you wanted him to do. Instead of saying, you never helped me around here, how about saying this? How about saying, I've had a tough day today. Would you take care of the kitchen tonight? Guess what? He understood that. But you know what some do? Instead, you'll go into the kitchen and you'll start slamming dishes around, start washing them in a way that clings and clangs so that he hears you in there doing it, and you're mad because he didn't read your mind. Instead of saying to him, fine, do whatever you want. How about saying this? You know, I'd really like it if you'd stay home with me tonight. Ah, he doesn't have to read your mind when you say that. He understands. Instead of saying, no, nothing's wrong, just going off, nothing's wrong. Try this. Try saying, you know, something is bothering me. I need for you to listen for a few minutes and not say anything. Guess what? He can do that. Do you know why? Because he understood what you said. He didn't have to read your mind. You communicated that. He can't read your mind. So let's start to land this first one. Clear communication doesn't mean it's less romantic. Don't romanticize communication. It's not less romantic because you have to verbally communicate exactly what you want. It's not less romantic, it's more mature. That's what communication is. So here's the funny thing. I heard someone say this the other day, and I just laughed. As I'm stress testing this subject, this is how it came out. And this is how guys think, okay? This really is how guys think. So, ladies, when your husband asks you, what's wrong? And you say, nothing, you just gave him the answer. And guess what? He understood that you said nothing's wrong. And there's a good chance that he's going to believe you because that's what you said. Nothing's wrong. And he's like, okay, good. Nothing's wrong. When that's not what you meant. You meant something else. You're in your mind saying there's a lot wrong. You should know it. But that's not what you told him. And what you told him is what he's going by. That's how men think. So if you tell him something, no, I don't need your help. Oh, okay. That's what he thinks. He thinks you're being honest with him. You just told him the truth. So don't make him take a test that he doesn't know he's taking and then get angry when he doesn't pass it. Men wish women knew they can't read their minds. All right, that's the first one. Let's get to the second one. And by the way, wait till we get to the fifth one. But let's get there first. Second one. Men wish women knew this. Respect affects him more deeply than you can realize. Respect affects him more deeply than you can realize. There's a passage in Ephesians 5:33. It says this. It first says to husbands, husbands, each one of you must also love your wives as you love yourself. That's what it says to men. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about this side of it. And then it says to women, and women, you must respect your husband. That's just what the Bible says. So in that passage, it is specifically telling the wife to respect her husband. Now, don't misunderstand. Respect doesn't mean that you always agree with everything he says. That's not what the word respect means. Respect doesn't mean that you can't challenge something he says. You just go along. That's not what respect means. Here's what respect looks like. This is what the Bible means when it says respect your husband. Let me give you a list. 1, don't belittle him, especially in front of other people or in front of the children. Don't try to make him look stupid. Then watch your tone. You can say the right words in a way that communicates to your husband, you're an idiot. Your tone can tell him that you think he's stupid, not respectful. And then don't constantly correct him. Nobody wants to feel like they're being parented by their spouse. Who wants to feel like they're married to a parent? So don't parent him. Then acknowledge what he does well. That's respect. Tell him when you're proud of him. That's respect. Ask for his opinion and then actually listen to it. That's respect. And disagree, okay, you can disagree, we all do, but disagree with respect. Disagree without attacking his competence or his character. That's respect. So I would say this, you can disagree with your husband without disrespecting him. So there's a reason God created us. That God says, wives, your husband needs respect. So let me say again, he needs it far more than you can even realize. So if the only thing your husband hears you say are the things that he's doing wrong, eventually he's going to come to the conclusion that in your eyes, he can't do anything right. And do you know what that does to your marriage? It begins to chip away at your intimacy and your marriage, and sometimes the longevity of your marriage. Let's move on. Number 3, what do men wish women knew? Here's the third one. He wants to know that you still want him. Not just love him, but want him. He wants to know that. And this distinction is really powerful. After many years of marriage, he knows you're committed to him. So your husband doesn't doubt that you're committed to him and that you love him. That's not what we're talking about. I want you to catch the distinction. He doesn't need to know you're committed. He knows it. He needs to know you still want him. That's totally different. That's not the same thing. He's asking this question in his mind. He's not saying it to you, but he's asking this in your mind. This is what he's saying. Does she still desire me? Is she proud to be with me? Does she enjoy me? Or am I just part of the household? Do I just come with the package? And this goes beyond sexual, even though that's certainly a part of the conversation. Does she still actually want me? That's what a man wished that he knew from you. So there's a difference between I love you and I choose you. There's a difference between I love you and I enjoy you. A man wants to know this. He wants to know if you're attracted to him or that you're still attracted to him. He really wants to know this. He's asking the question, does she still want to be close with me? You say he's never said that to me, but he's thinking it. What does it look like? Now, please listen to what I'm about to say to you. It looks like this. Initiating a kiss. It looks like this. Reaching out for his hand. Sitting next to him. It looks like complimenting how he looks. How about flirting with him? How about sometimes initiating intimacy? How about letting him catch you? Look at him. I mean, do you know what it will do to his heart rate to turn and see you staring at him? And when he catches you staring at him, you just have this smile come across your face. You know what that's going to do to his heart rate? Try it. Watch what happens. And there's another dimension, and I love this one. He wants to know that you enjoy his company. So the other day, I was at church talking to a friend of mine, and what he said to me, I instantly thought, I've got to use that. I loved what he said. So we were talking about being empty nesters. I'm not an empty nester yet. I still have one in high school, but he's an empty nester now. And he said, all the kids are gone. And I said, well, how's that going? I've noticed from your Facebook post that you and your wife are traveling a lot. He said, yeah, and do you know why we're traveling a lot? And I said, why? He said, because we actually like each other. I said, I love that. He said, we enjoy being together. We enjoy each other's company. So we like traveling, just the two of us, because we have fun together. That's what I'm saying. I loved his answer. That's what your husband wished he knew from you. Do you still enjoy him? Do you still want to be with him? So don't let your husband become somebody you deeply love, but you've stopped pursuing. Don't let him become that guy. And maybe an even more uncomfortable question would be, when was the last time that your husband felt like you couldn't wait to be alone with him? When was the last time? So your man, what does he want to know? He wants to know that you still want to be with him, that you find him attractive, that you're pursuing him, that you enjoy him. So you have to communicate that. Here's number 4, 2 left. This is one that blows up a lot, and I'm going to give a total different perspective. How many times have you heard a wife say, I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to listen. Well, here's number 4. A man's instinct to solve your problem may actually be how he shows you love. I'm changing how to look at this. This is a different perspective. But your man wishes you knew that. And I'm going to tell you, most of the men I know probably can't verbalize that to you. Probably can't actually intelligently say to you how they feel about that. So I'm helping them today. So you're telling him that you had a terrible day. Now I'm going to tell you how a man thinks. He wants you to know this. Listen, ladies, he wants you to know what I'm about to tell you. I get to be his spokesman today. All those guys who sent stuff back to me about this subject, I get to be their spokesman today. You say to him, you've had a terrible day. And before you even finish your story, his mind has already come up with 3 ways to fix it. And when he starts saying to you, you could do this or do this or do this, then you get mad at him and you say, would you just listen to me? That's your response. Let me give you a different way to think about it. You may not realize this. You may not realize that his attempt to fix it may actually be an expression of love. I mean, go a little deeper. He hears, this is what's going on with a man. He hears that someone he loves is hurting. And something inside of him says, do something to make it better. That's what he's thinking. You're struggling. His instinct as your man is to make it better. That's an expression of love. It's not an unwillingness to listen. It's not disrespecting you because he wants to fix it. It's because he loves you. It's because he wants to make it better. That's how we feel. So it doesn't mean that he shouldn't learn to listen. I'm not saying that. It doesn't mean that he should interrupt you when he's talking. I don't like that. That's not what it means. He absolutely should. But don't instantly interpret it as an unwillingness to listen. Start realizing that in a man's head, he wants to fix stuff for the people he loves. And when you talk about an issue, he wants to make it better. It's not indifference. He wants to make it better. So sometimes you need to tell him, and it's okay. Maybe you need to say, honey, I don't need you to fix it, or if things are coming in your mind, hang on, let me finish. It's okay to say that. So how can I fix this? Here's the last thing I want to say about this. And ladies, please hear this. And just every time his mind starts working how to fix it, I want you to remember this. When he is thinking and even says, how can I fix this? You know what he's really saying? How can I protect you? That's what he's really feeling. How can I protect you? So I want you to appreciate how a man thinks and why he wants to fix things. He's protecting you. He's protecting the person he loves. All right. We've made it to the last one. This is the one that I heard the most. I'm going to say in a huge majority of all the guys who responded to my question that I sent out, this by far was what I heard from most of them, almost every one of them. Number 5 is this. He needs to know that he's still succeeding with you. I'll explain it. He needs to know that he's still succeeding with you. A lot of men endure pressure. Maybe you've forgotten that. They endure pressure at work. They feel the financial pressure. They feel pressure with the children. They feel pressure with responsibilities. They feel pressure with success. But if he continues to feel like he's failing with his wife, something in him starts shutting down. He needs to know that he's still succeeding with his wife, not failing. I have counseled so many couples, and when I communicate this to the wife, she will say things like, she will act surprised when I say he's struggling because he doesn't know that he's succeeding with you. And she will say this, she will say, well, I don't feel that way. I don't feel like he's not succeeding with me. If I could lean forward and get real close to the camera, which I'm not going to, and look you really straight in the eye and hear you say, I never felt like he wasn't succeeding. I want to say to you, but have you ever communicated that? I'm telling you, this is the number one thing that I have heard from men, and this is what they want you to know. She says, that's not how I feel. Why does he feel that way? She says. And I have to say, because have you verbally told him how much you appreciate him? Let me just walk through some things. These are the things that the men have said to me. Have you ever said to him how much you appreciate him? Have you ever said to him, honey, I'm proud of you? Just said that. I mean, I have to a little bit, because of a few of the guys that responded, I have to a little bit kind of hold my own emotions in right now, because they feel this so deeply. They've never heard their wife say that. Honey, I'm proud of you. Has he ever heard you say, thank you for how you love our kids? You're such a good father. Have you ever walked by him and put your hand on his shoulder and just paused there for a moment? Don't even have to say anything. Just put your hand on his shoulder, stand there for a minute, and then go on. I'm helping you, ladies. This is what he wishes you knew. How about this one? Have you ever bragged on him in public? Or does he have to get you to brag on him? Encourage you to brag on him? Have you ever bragged on him in public? Have you in public been talking to a group of people? Do you know how many guys told me this one right here? You're in public together with other people, and you reached out and grabbed his hand and held it. That sounds so insignificant to you, and it's so big to him. It means so much to him. Do you want him to move mountains? I literally had a man say to me that if my wife bragged on me, said something positive to me in public, if my wife showed any kinds of, if she did any of these things, he literally said, then I'll move mountains that are in front of her. That's how deeply men feel about this. So let me just end with this. Criticism, ladies, will rarely produce the husband you want. Sometimes, as a matter of fact, your criticism convinces him there's no way to win. So these are the things that men wish their wives knew. And now you know. Now, here's your response. One, your response is do some of these things. Maybe just something simple. Maybe do what I mentioned to you. Maybe your husband's sitting in a chair this evening and you walk by and you just put your hand on his shoulder and don't say a word. Don't say anything. Just stand there. I mean, you may have to pick him up. He may fall over out of shock. But put your hand on his shoulder, stand there for a minute, and then just go on. Or stare at him when he doesn't know it. And when he turns and looks at you, just give him a smile like, I still want you. Do something. Just show him something. And that's the first thing I want you to do. Here's the next thing. Men, these are 5 things, but you probably have more. Or wives, maybe your man has told you what he needs that I haven't mentioned. I'd love to hear in the comments some of the things that we haven't talked about. So load up the comments. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. This is it, what men wished women knew. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us again at Faith Influencer Podcast. This is your blended family podcast. All things blended family, also all things marriage and raising our children. So looking forward to meeting with you next time.